Good evening to you retro heads, hope you're doing well on this chilly February evening. I'm Retro Faith here with you until the wee hours with retro tunes, retro news, retro chat and of course some retro games. Coming up we have all the regular news sections, we meet a collector and they show us some of their cool stuff and the usual chip tunes. We're also celebrating Zelda's 51st anniversary, or 55th birthday. So we'll be doing a lot of Zelda influenced stuff today. And we'll also be chatting to Retro Sumus, the brains behind the wonderful, awesome new Dreamcast adventure-y, shootery game Xenocider. So that's the main feature for tonight. But before that, to celebrate the 35th birthday of the wonderful Zelda, obviously more Zelda chat coming up throughout the show. Let's enjoy some tunage from Hyrule, from composer Koji Kondo, and the classic 1991 Link to the Past. Classic there, 1991 Link to the Past. What a game. I might play some of that later on tonight as it goes. I don't know yet. We'll work it out later. Just before all that though, and before we get to the news, have you bought a new item for your collection? Have you some news to share? Maybe you just want to say hello. Contact@retrofaith.net or get in touch with Twitter, Facebook, all the usual ones, or use the live chat here. If you do send an email or anything like that, please have a name on it. I have to read out a name with it as well. Use those channel points. I think we're getting close to the charity stream for Mario, so have a go at those. But without further ado, I suppose we need to move on to our news section, and we've got special guest again. Sam is going to be taking us through some more Nintendo news today. But just before all that, as it is Zelda, I just wanted to chat a little bit about the Zelda news we've had recently. So, obviously, Nintendo had a big thing last week where they put stuff out, and everyone was thinking there's going to be some news on Brotherhood of the Wolf 2 or some new Zelda stuff. And we got some new Zelda news, though, to celebrate the 35th. We're getting Skyward Sword, the Wii game. I think it was on the Wii U as well. Yeah, it was. We're getting a remake or remaster or a HD upscaler, whatever you want to call it. We're getting one of those. So, yeah, I mean, the news was good. It was okay. But I kind of wanted a bit more. Maybe like a. I mean, the thing is, I was thinking like a classic collection for the Switch. But obviously, on their NES and SNES emulators, you've got pretty much like all the main games basically there anyway. But I personally would either prefer a different Zelda game. I like Zelda. I play the games whenever they come out, but I don't mind. I think Skyward Sword is probably one of those ones that didn't get too much of a look in at the time, so it's maybe a good thing. But are you going to spend £50 on a Zelda game that's like about 10 years old? You know, well, I'm sure all you budding Nintendo fans will be all over that when it comes out. But I just want to introduce my first guest, a friend of the show, backbone of the show actually. He leads our charge on Phantasy Star every Wednesday, and he's always helping me out with stuff. I owe him a lot. I don't think this stream could go ahead without the backbone of the stream, and that's my good friend Sam. Let's get Sam on the Discord call. You there, Sam?
Hey Faith, how's it going?
Right, you probably need to turn your mic up a little bit, buddy, before we start. Sound check.
There you are.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys hear Sam on the stream? Can you hear him? Is he there? Do I need to fiddle with a setting before we get going? Wouldn't surprise me. Can you guys hear him? Probably not. There's probably something wrong going on, isn't there? Let's have a look here. I don't think you're on the stream. Ah, there you are.
Ah, there we go.
Ah, there you go. That was a weird thing, wasn't it? So Sam, how are you doing, first of all?
Yeah, doing good.
Excellent. So you've obviously sent me over some stuff, and there's been lots of Nintendo news going on, and you're going to take it for it. I know. Obviously, being the buzzing news hound you are for Europe. Let me just put the. Do you want to put the link in there if you're on your computer? There, put the link in. I know you're a budding news hound, and I love the fact that you take the time out to take us through all the news. Maybe one day we'll get someone from a Sega website, hey, to do some news as well. But you know, we'll see about that in the future. Brilliant. So let's move on then, because obviously I'll just sit here and chat to you for ages about Phantasy Star, which I'm sure most people probably aren't going to want to know about. So first of all, Sam, what's this we're seeing on the screen? What's happened here? Tell us what's happened.
Well, it's now official. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 is coming to Nintendo Switch.
Wow.
And, obviously it was following many rumours, and even sadly the liquidation of Vicarious Visions, the studio that put it together.
Really?
But there were many. Yeah, unfortunately they did get liquidated by Activision following making these fantastic remakes. But people still wanted to know, when it's coming to the Switch. Not only that, but it's coming to all platforms. So it's coming out on PS5 and Xbox One X. But I think the Switch, because of its portability.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main platform. I think. You got a unique selling point. You can take Tony Hawk's on the go.
You could like ride your skateboard while playing Tony Hawk. You could be playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and you could be on your skateboard at the same time. You could like be playing as Tony and playing as Tony at the same time. Yeah, it's like some sort of parallel universe thing going on. Yeah, what could go wrong? Says boyfriend. Right. So that's good then. So what are your feelings on this? I mean, I'm not. I think anyone that kind of follows anyone, I'm not a huge fan of remakes and stuff. But I know I haven't played this myself because I'm waiting for it to drop in price on not Steam, it's on Epic Games or whatever, on PC basically. It's still really expensive. It's still like £37 or something like that. So at the end of the day, I've played these games to death, especially the first two, on my Dreamcast and on my PC. So I'm not really over enamoured by paying £37 playing with the game. But what do you think, apart from the portability, what do you think the Switch has over the others that have come out now? Do you think there's anything extra there that sort of gives it an edge?
Depending on your preference of controllers, I reckon playing this obviously in portable mode, you kind of got to use the Joy-Cons, which isn't brilliant, but they're workable. As long as you got a working pair of those controllers, they're not bad. But I think playing that with a Pro controller work very nicely, because I think the controls would translate very well. Whereas on the PlayStation and Xbox, if you're used to those controllers, it's still perfectly playable. But I think just on the Switch, because obviously there is some history with Tony Hawk's on Nintendo platforms, and I think it's great to actually see Tony Hawk's returning to a Nintendo platform.
Of course, because the last time it was on Nintendo platform would have been on GameCube, would it? Oh no, it was on the Wii. Yeah, I've got a Wii one. I've got a Wii one. Downhill Jam.
Yeah, there were a few spin-offs, but I think the mainline Tony Hawk's games. Of course, you had 3 and 4 on the Underground games on the GameCube.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But I think after that, it kind of tailed off. Apart from the.
Well, there hasn't been too many games. There hasn't been too many Tony Hawk's games since that awful Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 that come out on the Xbox.
Yeah.
Do you remember, like about 5-6 years ago, and it just got totally trashed.
I remember that. Yeah, I ended up buying that, and it was fun for a few minutes, but it wasn't quite the same. But this is the very much the real deal.
When's it out?
It's out on March 26th, 2021. Now, they didn't actually make that 100% clear in the press release, whether or not that was for the next-gen versions. But they seem to imply that the Switch version is coming out in 2021. But either way, it's looking like it's going to be soon. So.
Oh, very good. Well, we'll look out for that. I mean, I'm a huge Tony Hawk fan. You never know. If I pull the right strings, I might get a demo. For the Switch. Imagine that we could play that on a Friday. Tony Hawk's Friday. And I'm not bragging. I'm mustard on these games. Like I literally on the especially the second game, I have got a perfect line on every level, and I don't stop. Literally, I can keep it going forever and ever and ever. I once did a combo for 2 hours at a party, and everyone's like, "This is insane." And the score just maxes out at 9999999 eventually, and then goes to error.
There's really some skills there.
Yeah, whether I've still got those skills 20 years on, we'll wait and see. But when I played it a few days ago, well, say a month or so ago on the Dreamcast, I was still really good from the off. Like I still knew it. I was still stringing together like 30-second combos and stuff for like millions of points. I was like, okay, I've still got the skills. Whether it's that kind of standard, I don't know. But yeah, we'll move on. I'm probably digging myself a massive hole here. But we'll move on. So the next bit of news you sent me over, which I think looks interesting because I'm a fan of this game. Now, just before we show what game it is, you told me that you haven't played this game yet on the Xbox. It's an original Xbox game, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah, Star Wars Republic Commando. So I remember the box art, especially on the Xbox version, showed that green box, and then you got a nice contrast. With the artwork you can see now. I don't actually know a huge amount about this one.
Well, so, I do because I've played it. I've got it on my Xbox. I collect Star Wars games for some reason on my Xbox. I've got all of them bar I think one more I need to get now. It's basically just like a shooting game, and it's got a teeny tiny, very light touch sort of strategy to it as well. Where you can like order men around and stuff like that. It's basically just a shooting game, but it's a really well made one. It's held in quite high regard, from what I remember. So we're looking at that. So is that out yet, or is that coming out, or?
It's not out yet, but it won't be long because it's actually launching on April 6th, 2021.
April 6th. So it comes out. Oh no, not too long then. Has there been any buzz around that? Any of your Nintendo fans?
Oh yeah, because you've had plenty of people asking when this game's actually coming out, because there's been lots of rumours about when it's coming out. I think it's because, as you say, it's very highly regarded Star Wars game. But yeah, people have been asking, particularly for this game for quite some time, and now that it's come out, there's definitely a bit of buzz about it on the forums, so which is it's great to see. Well,
again, are you going to keep us up to date with that as it comes nearer the release? You think one you're looking forward to?
Yeah. Might try for a review code for that one, because it says here it's by, was it Aspyr? I'm not 100% sure if they're the original developers or not. but they are
I can't remember.
the ones who hold the license now. So it might be worth hitting them up for a review code.
Well, I look forward to that because I'm a big Star Wars fan. So thanks for that. It's April the 6th, you say. That's out on Switch, yeah? Okay, very good. Another nice retro game coming to the Switch. It is a bit of a beast, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't have a Switch and you like your retro games, right then. Oh no, we've done Tony Hawk. Go away, Tony Hawk. We don't want you. We don't want that. What's this game? I don't know nothing about this. I'm just gonna let you lead on this one, Sam. You just do your thing. What is this game?
Okay, well next up we got Narita Boy, which they had a Kickstarter a few years back, and I was alerted to it on the forums. And it's just basically the art style for it, because I think you could just say it's another one of those, like 16-bit retro styled games. So I think there's a lot more to it. It's kind of like like a love letter to the 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
So it features a narrative-driven adventure that takes players to kind of a game inside a game. So you'll be battling powerful bosses and overcoming puzzles in order to uncover secrets inside the digital kingdom, and ultimately, its creator. So there's again kind of almost like an Inception type.
So it's like Tron
to it. Yeah, and Tron. Yeah.
Wow. And that's like an action platformery type, like classic kind of action platform game, is it, or something a bit different? Puzzly? Looks puzzly to me for some reason.
Yeah, it does. I think it has got some puzzle elements to it. It looks really interesting. I mean, it says here it puts players in the shoes of the eponymous digital warrior chosen to wield the Techno Sword, a legendary weapon capable of defeating fearsome foes in melee or from afar, as it instantly transforms into a shotgun or devastating laser beam.
Well, there you go then. Right, let's quickly move. I'm looking forward to that one as well. Then
It looks interesting.
It looks like Ori and the Wisp. Was it called? Do you remember that one? That's a game out a few while ago.
Similar vibe to it in that piece of artwork there. So worth checking out the trailer for that one.
Most definitely. Right, let me just. Sorry, I'm just flicking up the Zoom call as I go.
March 30th.
March the 30th. So again, it's not too far away then. Right. Okay. Let's let Carlos into the room there. Carlos, if you're watching the stream, just put yourself on mute, please, and I'll get to you very soon. Thank you, my friend. Right, so then the next bit of news we have is... Well, this isn't retro, but we'll go with it anyway, because everyone loves Smash Brothers. Go on, what's happening in Smash Brothers then? Go on, what's happening in Smash Brothers, Sam?
Okay, well, there will be Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Mr. Sakurai presents Pyra and Mithra, which will be shown on March the 4th. So this is basically Sakurai, who's the main developer on the game. He'll be showing off the new, basically all the new skill sets of these new characters, and obviously revealing when they're coming out. It'll be quite an in-depth presentation. It says here it's going to run for about 35 minutes. That seems to be typical for these kind of DLC Smash character presentations. But it's interesting because I think these characters, you kind of got two in one. So I think they probably take up one slot on the roster, but I think you can transform between the two. So I think it's a bit like, do you remember how was it Sheik would turn into Zelda?
I do, yeah.
On Super Smash Bros. Melee. I think it's a bit like that. Obviously they're separate characters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, but here I think this is like a dual character setup.
Wow. So that could be quite a good thing, couldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I played Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Not all the way through, so in fact, there might even be some vague spoilers in this character reveal. I don't know for sure, but I think it's an interesting character choice. Didn't see it coming anyway, so...
Very good. Right, sorry, I am listening. I'm just also trying to do... For some reason I've got a problem with my computer as we go. Typical, isn't it? Typical. Right, well, yeah, there you go then. So Smash Brothers, new stuff. Right, I will then go... Oh, sorry, what, did you say what date that was out on?
Yeah, the presentation will be on March 4th, 2021, so it's only a week
few
or
days
so
away. Okay, well, so you can update us on that then. If there's anything new from the presentation, you could update that on us maybe next week.
We'll definitely have a full roundup article on it shortly after it ends.
Brilliant. I think this is your last piece of news, isn't it? Pokemon.
Yeah.
What's going on with Pokemon, Sam?
This news just dropped today as Pokemon Presents. That'll be shown tomorrow. We've had quite a few opinions on the forum about what might be shown. Because obviously it's Pokemon presentation, so people are expecting maybe a brand new Pokemon game to come out or just new details. So we had, what was it? Someone said Pokemon Unite will undoubtedly be shown, probably a release date for that. Yeah, possibly. And then also someone else said Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes are inevitable. Personally, there's no question in my mind in this. And it's this year we return to Sinnoh. Yes, it's the 25th anniversary of the series as a whole.
Is it?
That's the longest
Pokemon?
it's taken. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's the longest time it's taken for them to remake a core series title from initial release.
Oh,
So it's-
knowledge.
Apparently, it says here it's Diamond and Pearl's 15th anniversary this September. So that's versus 12 years it took them to remake Ruby and Sapphire.
Do you think that they could be looking at this and thinking, we're going to launch our Game Boy emulator on the Switch and the first game's coming out on it is going to be Pokemon?
I think that's a possibility.
Could I have
No
called
one's
it? Could I have
actually-
called it? Could I have called it?
I think you might have. No one's actually mentioned that.
Put that in your Nintendo community. Say some Sega fan says they reckon that the announcement is going to be that Nintendo are launching a Game Boy emulator on their Switch, like the NES and the SNES, and obviously Pokemon's going to be the biggest draw there, but obviously Mario games and all that as well, and Zelda and all the rest of it, but it will be Pokemon is what people will be going for straight away, isn't it? Red and blue, isn't it? Was the original ones, and yellow or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's a possibility.
There you are then. So that's tomorrow. What time tomorrow is that, in case people wanted to pick up on it?
I believe that's 3 p.m. tomorrow UK time, but I've got all the other times up on the main site, just in case we got any different time zones.
Okay, can you? Lovely. Do you want to just put another link to your website then? So if you're into your Nintendo stuff, I would only collaborate with people that I trust and people that I think do good stuff and things I believe in. Obviously, don't believe in Nintendo, but but as a neutral journalist, this is the site. I like this one. I check it, once or twice a week. They do great reviews. Sam here, who we're talking to right now, does all the news and everything. Please check them out. Be great if you could support it. It's an independent Nintendo site, which is great. Sam, have you got anything else for us? That's your last slide, isn't it? Why is that still on there? Tony's just taking over today. Did you have anything else for us? You didn't, did you? That was it, wasn't it?
Oh no, I think that's it. That's all the news from the past couple of days.
Wonderful. Well, Sam, thank you very much. We've still got 8 minutes left of time. You have been super concise today. Super concise. I kind of feel like that I want to speak to you some more. But that's the end of the news. Then I suppose we're saying goodbye. And obviously, anyone that wants to hear more from Sam, check out this stream on a Wednesday when me and Sam run Fantasy Star Guild.
Yeah,
let's plug some Fantasy Star while we've got a bit of time before the interview, or before I do the next bit of the radio show. So Wednesday nights from 9, late night Fantasy Star. I started a guild. Sam is kind of the real leader. I'm just the gobby one that organises everything. Sam and we have fun. We play it online. We have about 7 people in the guild now. So what's getting bad about it, Sam, isn't it? Sam, you'll know this, that when we load up now, we have like some people that sometimes miss out because you can only have 4 people in a team. So what happens is you have 4 people in a team, and then so me and Sam have logged on, and then it's the other 2 people that get there first out of the guild, because we have like a little chat room where we have all the people in the guild in, and it's a bit awkward, isn't it, Sam, sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes, because it depends on obviously who's there, and maybe say either you're there and I'm there, and so if we're the first 2 in, then it's kind of like whoever joins, because we just leave it as an open game, and so sometimes you'll get the ideal situation where there's 4 people there, so they're going to be on. They're on at around 9 and say yeah, and we get a game together right away. But other times, just leave the game open, and we've already got 4 players before it's even
started.
What, 10,
exactly.
quarter past the hour. So
Yeah, well, there you go then.
it's
So,
going pretty well.
yeah, it's going really well. So that's it. A little plug for the Wednesday shows. It's late night fantasy, and I just slough out basically and play Fantasy Star with my mates, and I stream it, pretending I'm some like big important person. But really, I'm just playing Fantasy Star. No, I'm only joking. Sam, thank you very much, my friend. I'll be speaking to you soon, and I'm sure all the people loved hearing all the news that's coming out. So I'll see you later, my friend.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
See you later, my friend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Right, it's Discord. I can get rid of that now. Bye-bye, Discord. End the call. Right, guys. So the next... normally at this part of the show, we would do Collector's Corner. But because it's a Zelda 35th anniversary, I've got a Zelda collector on for a bit later on in the show. So I moved the Collector Corner, the collector section, on a little bit because I want to not just talk about the collectibles in the Zelda franchise. I've got someone to talk about what Zelda means to them. So that's going to be at 10 o'clock. So before that, and just before our interview with Carlos, Retro Sumus Xenocider. Oh yes, I'm looking at my Dreamcast now. I'm ready. I've got it ready, guys. I've got it ready. Just before that, though, just before all that, we have, if I could find it on my list of things. Here we are, on this day. So on this day, 1999, the Japanese release of Marvel versus Street Fighter. Now, you all know me, I'm a massive fighting game fan. So when I saw this on the list of games released today, it would have been rude of me not to mention it. So this was the precursor to the probably more famous series Marvel versus Capcom, of which now there's like 4 or 5 games for now, and they're all brilliant. But just before that, when this crossover type games were starting to lift off, you had one just before this called X-Men versus Street Fighter, and then about 6 months later you had this one come out, which is Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter. So it started building up, and then the next one after this was Marvel versus Capcom, where all the Capcom characters came in, not just Street Fighter. So wanted to give a shout out for that today. It's a great game. I mean, if you like your 2D fighters, this one's so pure. It's quite tough though. This is the one where they introduced a slightly new combo system, which then was refined for the original Marvel vs. Capcom game that came out. How many bloody Street Fighter games are there, boyfriend? There's loads, because I have a huge Street Fighter game collection. Over 100 Capcom and SNK games, but that's another story for another time. So then, just before we get to my interview, and I know Carlos is waiting in the wings very patiently, and I cannot wait to chat to him. But just before we do that, let's reminisce about the early days of crossover fighting with this track from composer Yuki Iwai. I think that's how you pronounce it. Hello there, everybody. Hello there. We've got Carlos here from Retro Sumus. Do you want to just say hello, Carlos, and make sure everyone can hear you on the stream?
Hello, everyone.
Can you all hear Carlos, yeah? Can you all hear him fine? Just want to make sure, Carlos, just before we start. No, he's not too loud. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay,
hey, sorry. Brilliant. There we go. Oh, someone's following, apparently. Hello. Right, there we go. So, anyone that's been watching my channel or following my social stuff and all that recently, and seen my latest, well, not my latest YouTube video, but my latest review, knows that Xenocider has absolutely blasted onto the Dreamcast. And it's not just another indie game, that someone's put together. This is like a real game that has a really good story behind it. And I'm not sure why loads of people are following all of a sudden. But there you go. And we're going to be doing it. Thanks for the follow, Lord Gooski. Wow, that's cool. That's cool. Thank you very much. Lots of people are following. So thank you very much for all the follows. Not sure why that zombie man's running around. But Carlos, how have you been? How's it been since the release? Are you still pumped?
Well, the first days, the release, after release were really hectic. After release is just, basically Chewy, the programmer behind all this, managing all shipping, all, logistics, so to speak, from his home. And then me on the other side of the country, managing, social media and the website and, email and all that as usual. So, it's been really, really hectic. And of course, we understand, people can get impatient sometimes, with their orders. And, hey, I didn't receive a notification about my order. Has it been shipped? All that. But, Brexit has made everything, everything more complicated.
Yeah.
So that's something we knew would happen, with the shipping and all that, but we couldn't really anticipate it would be so complicated, so slow for some people to get their blue cases, their PAL limited edition.
Oh, I didn't get one of those. Never mind. Next time. Sorry, go on.
No, that's all. Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, no. So, just before we start, then, if anyone hasn't, I've got another cup of tea. Thank you, Darlene. That's okay. I've got 2 cups of tea now. This is good. I've got 2 cups. Can't do better than that. Just before we start, then, so the usual format for my interviews, I'm going to play the game while trying to do an interview at the same time. So, if things are going badly on screen, don't worry. Watch my review where it's all a lot better and stuff. But and you can get a feel for the game. And Carlos. There's still copies left to buy. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, of course. Both limited editions were sold out, and they've been sold out for a while now. But the regular and special editions are still available. I think you have one of each of those. I brought one of each just in case to show.
Oh yeah, I've got mine here. Yeah. But the special one, just before we play the game, the special one's good because obviously it's got the game in it and it's got a really cool soundtrack. And I used Carlos, thank you for the soundtrack because I used that to make my review, have the background music and stuff. So that was very useful. And it got a little leaflet with it, explaining a bit, and obviously explains in here that hey, you're very passionate. But we're going to get into all that. So I don't know if Sam's there. Sam, can you get us a link to the Retro Sumus website where people can purchase this? Go and buy it immediately, kind of plug. Thank you, Sam, if you're there listening, or Tiger, if you're listening. But I think I just want to start off, Carlos, by saying congratulations. Congratulations. This is a great game. And I'm not just saying it's a great game because you're sitting there. I play a lot of new Dreamcast games. I study Dreamcast. It's my favourite topic for retro gaming as a game journalist. I play a lot of Dreamcast. And this is... Out of all the Dreamcast games since they started being indie games since 2007, I think this alongside Xenocrisis and Stormwind are the best. I mean, I couldn't choose between the 3, but yeah, you've gone right up in my list of Dreamcast indie games.
Personally, I'm a huge fan of Stormwind, and actually, I was I've been in contact with, I don't remember now if it was Johannes or Roland Graf. The 2 guys behind Stormwind, and I think it was Johannes. He's a great guy, pretty useful, really nice to talk to. So, and I'm a huge fan of their game. So
Wonderful.
I'm not going to make you choose between the three.
Thank you. Thank you for not making me choose between the three. But someone in the chat will be like, you've got to pick one. You've got to pick one. Even my boyfriend, who's a massive Nintendo fan and hates the Dreamcast, has said it was a lovely soundtrack. He's actually like a raver, and he was like, this is great. This is great. So here's the game then. I suppose, Carlos, we just got to... I'll skip the tutorial because, you know, that people can go for that if they want. I just want to start my first question then. Give us a little background about where this game comes from, because it started in 2014, didn't it? But there was something that was going on around that, wasn't it? You were doing another game beforehand? Was that? Do you want to?
Well, the three of us, because Juanjo, the composer for the soundtrack, joined slightly later, but the three of us had been involved with Pierre Solar or whatever the right pronunciation in English is. We had been involved with it on different levels, different stages, pun intended, of development. And then at some point in one of these Retro Madrid or Retro Barcelona, these retro events which used to be very big in Spain, not anymore with restrictions and everything.
Yeah.
But we had known each other for some times from internet boards, Sega related websites and this kind of thing, and retro events. And then we met during one of these events and thought, why don't we just get together and do something, ourselves, not for someone else. We've collaborated with other independent projects since then, but we wanted to create something of our own. And there were these two ideas going on at the same time. One of them was a kind of detective adventure visual novel kind of game, but we had to put that on hold because it required so much artwork. Like, we needed an 2D artist that was committed enough for this. So we decided to go with Xenocider because, well, Abel, he's a 3D designer, and it was his idea to do this kind of thing. And we thought it was the way to go. It took us longer than expected, of course, because we launched a Kickstarter campaign, as you probably know, but we canceled before it failed. We chose to cancel and then kind of rethink everything. In the end, well, the game took way longer than expected to develop, but in the end, it's also way more ambitious than initially planned. Features more stuff, mini games and bonus stages and unlockable stuff and achievements. We never planned for that in the first place.
Wow,
but we kind of became feature freaks after all these years. So in the end, it's pretty ambitious, I think.
Brilliant. And I suppose like the first it kind of come on my radar. I think you did a so obviously people in Spain have seen it at retro shows up, and the Kickstarter. Yes, sadly didn't happen. But then you did an interview with the Dreamcast Junkyard, I think, around that time, and then you decided that you were was it almost like you were going to self-fund it? How did all that come about? Because obviously now you still put the game into production, didn't you?
Yeah, well, we announced that we were going for Kickstarter or any kind of crowdfunding solution like that, but it didn't work out in the end. So we thought, okay, let's do this the hard way and just try to create this in our free time.
Wow.
Whatever that takes. So I think, I'm not sure if it was Adam Kralik or even
Adam Kralik,
the Dreamcast Junkyard, who asked us about the budget. So what was the budget for the game? And I answered, like, honestly, I have no idea. I mean, it's impossible for us to calculate what the budget was because, as I think I told you before, this game is the result of countless sleepless nights. So when all our, real life jobs, our real life work is done, when the kids are sleeping, when, everything, then we get together on a video call and then we share screens And then here is Blender, here is Linux, here is the Dreamcast, here is I don't know, whatever we are using. And then we discuss and we have arguments, and we had so many arguments even during the Kickstarter campaign. So, it's impossible for us to calculate how long it took, like in hours of work, or what the budget was.
Wow, that's amazing. I suppose I think I probably just want to ask a little bit about. I mean, the obvious go-to here is it's like, you're obviously a big fan of Space Harrier, but where most indie games on the Dreamcast are either going to be like a traditional 2D shmup or shooter, or sometimes a platform game. What made you think that this was going to be possible? Bearing in mind the limitations that you had as a team.
I don't recall when that happened, but Abel came up with a tech demo very, very soon, which basically used cubes. We were thinking, actually, the original work in progress title for the game was Project Q.
Okay.
As a kind of war game for cube.
Yeah.
It was kind of a 3D Space Harrier, but using cubes instead of sprites. So when an enemy would explode in like 1,000 little cubes.
Oh yeah, okay, like Res. Kind of.
Not exactly, but I think I can send you a little video we made on that first tech demo. So we showed this idea to some of our friends from Dreamcast.es, and they liked it, but it was kind of difficult to understand. So we thought we would switch to like regular, traditional 3D, as if that would be easier. But hell no. So Chewy came up with his own engine, Dreamer.
Yeah.
Because we like the Dreamcast and all that. So
who doesn't?
Dreamer sounded, well, your boyfriend doesn't apparently. Which I don't understand. I mean, you two need to talk about that.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
So he came up with this engine, and well, sometimes people ask us if this engine could be used, to create other games and stuff. So it can, but this is not an engine as, let's say, Unreal Engine or anything like that. You cannot,
modify
throw your 3D models in there, and then just you get a new Call of Duty. It's kind of like a framework. You need to do a lot of low-level coding, a lot of old school programming, and then you can create a huge variety of games for a huge variety of platforms, actually. But we used it to create a 3D game exclusively for the Dreamcast. There is no other, port or conversion planned at the moment, because it would require us to completely rework all the, 3D assets and everything, because it's created exclusively for the Dreamcast resolution and memory limits and all that.
Wow. Very good. Oh well, yeah. I mean, the fact that it's got like its own engine and everything, I just find it fascinating. So, well, I suppose because this has been going on since 2014. It's a long time. What I suppose what I'm trying to say is when did you know that this was going to happen and this was going to get released? Like, when did that actually happen for you as a team? This wasn't just like a project after hours or whatever. What was the moment where you thought we can do this and we're gonna start looking into like disc pressing and all that sort of stuff? And
I think it actually we had this feeling from the very first moment we decided we were going to do it, and then we saw it like in our minds. We saw it happening when we launched the Kickstarter campaign, even if it didn't happen in the end. Like the campaign failed, but we had like a couple very bad weeks after we had to cancel this campaign. Of course, it was like a very bad hangover. But then we well, we got better, and then we talked and decided, let's do it anyway. Let's do it anyway. It will take us forever, but this has to happen. We have to make this happen, and that's it. I mean, but I think we saw it in our minds. We had this clear image of what the game had to look like in our hands, like physically, from the very beginning.
Brilliant. I suppose
once it was decided, it was just, well, whatever it takes.
And I suppose that, I mean, you'd obviously been involved in the Watermelon PSO and that, so you'd already sort of had that experience of a physical product that you're part of, which must, feel amazing. But what's it like then when you're kind of more leading the project and it's more on your shoulders? So I think if I understand rightly, with Watermelon, you were kind of contracted in. You wasn't sort of involved in the actual, decision making. Is that right?
Well, no. Chewy, he was the lead programmer for PR Solar HD and Dreamcast versions. He didn't program any of the original Mega Drive game, the original code. That was done by Fonzie, I think.
That's
who was
right, yeah.
still Watermelon's boss, owner, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then he came in and completely reprogrammed the game for modern platforms. So he had to do a lot of decision making, but it was all related to the code itself. Not to the story or the art style.
Yeah, I get you.
Then Abel, he was recruited to remake one specific stage of the game, like a pseudo 3D stage.
I think I remember it, yeah.
3D designer. Yeah, but I was a proofreader, translator, beta tester from the very beginning.
Okay, yeah.
Mega Drive, when the game was not even completed yet.
All right.
I was never like hired or contracted or anything like that. I did it because I thought, hey, maybe, I'm a teacher actually, so maybe I can, proofread everything and make sure it makes sense in Spanish.
Okay, yeah, well, very good. Okay, so yeah, as we got the game was released obviously around mid-January time. What were the feelings in the group, like as launch started coming and you knew you'd have to start sending out these packets and stuff? Was it nervous? Was it excitement? What was going on? What was the atmosphere like amongst you all, especially during COVID and stuff as well, and Brexit and all that stuff going on?
It was a feeling of huge impatience because we chose to work. Well, as you can see in the back of the game, it says "Made in Spain," like very clearly.
Yeah.
Because all indie games seem to come from like Germany, like Stormwind or NG Dev Team games, which I'm a huge fan of too.
Oh, yeah.
Or from China or Japan.
Yeah.
So we thought it was kind of important, that all copies say "Made in Spain" loud and clear. We wanted to work with a factory here in Spain. Kind of, in this economy, we didn't want to take our business to China too, and to make everything. Maybe it would be cheaper for us, but it would take longer. We wouldn't have as much, feeling of control that we would have with a factory in our own country. So it was made in a factory not far up, about 3 hours or so from where I live. And so we could just pick up the phone and talk to the guy and say, hey, how it's going. But, all of the COVID-related restrictions made everything slower. So for a few weeks, we were just waiting in our homes for the factory to test the disc, to manufacture just this one copy, which they would need to ship back to us so we could try in a real Dreamcast.
Oh, what was that like? What was that like when you got it through the post?
It's not working.
No!
Yes. So we had to manufacture this just one disc, which is more expensive than manufacturing like a whole run of them because it's just the one. Then get it shipped back to us, try it on real hardware, and then freak out because it's not working. So kind of reworking it, assemble the image file again, send it back to the factory, send also all the music tracks and all the design files, and oh my god, this artwork is not really working with the printer they're using. These kind of things make you lose your hair.
Can you imagine?
So yeah, but in the end, it was all worth it. The factory guys were very, very understanding and very nice people to deal with, thank God. But the game was actually finished, like completely finished and like ready to send to the factory. It was actually sent to the factory around November, I think. But then with all the restrictions and everything, it would have been chaos just to ship it around Christmas. So we thought we would wait until everything was ready, like including the limited edition cases and all that,
which we had to put together.
Yeah, we had to put them together like by hand.
Oh yeah.
Everything was, all the limited editions were handmade.
Wow. That's amazing. So, like, okay. Maybe not getting on to after the release, because you know, I mean, you've been getting, like, the reviews have started dropping in now, haven't they? I think, you know, there's quite a few there. What was you expecting to get such good feedback, or you know, was you nervous about what people like me, the nasty critics, were going to say? Or did you know you'd smashed it? Did you know you'd smashed it out of the water?
Well, for some time we were a bit nervous that, okay, maybe people are not going to like this, but then we thought, come on, there is a lot of content here. I mean, the game plays well, the game sounds well, the game is properly animated, the game has a lot of design and animation and coding work behind. I mean, the game is working well.
Yeah.
We knew we had that kind of product. But then you never know. Like 9 out of 10 new products every year fail in their market, so you never know. Our main worry was not that, but the fact that the Dreamcast market is actually, you know, shrinking. You know, it's getting smaller and smaller.
No, that's not true. No, don't say that to me. You can't say
Sorry. But it's kind of true. I mean,
yeah, it is. People are fed up of indie games on the Dreamcast, I think.
Kind of. Also, you know, crowdfunded games are not, you know, such huge news as they used to be.
No.
And Dreamcast indie games are not, you know, huge news as they used to be either. So, you know, it's kind of, and it's hard to, like, retro-looking, old-looking 3D is harder to sell to people than pixel art.
Yeah, it is. That's very true.
Yeah. It's kind of eye candy, and old-looking 3D is kind of, you need to explain it.
It is.
Pixel art.
But I think I speak for a lot of people who might not have seen this game before tonight or before the review started coming out. But I think it's really refreshing as a retro gamer who likes sort of new games coming out on their systems. I find it really, really refreshing to have something that's actually 3D and look. I mean, to me, when I first started playing this, I know you guys popped on the stream a little and surprised me, but my first reaction was, this plays like a Naomi board from back in like 2000. Anyone just quickly explain what that is? So the Dreamcast is, just for the viewers, not for you, Carlos. Obviously, no, you know what I'm about to say. The Dreamcast like base system is based on an arcade machine called the Naomi system, and the Dreamcast is very closely linked to that. And there's loads of great 3D and 2D games that use that. So Carlos, like, did you have that in your mind that you wanted this to feel like one of those games from the time of the Dreamcast that was from the arcade and then very quickly ported to the Dreamcast around the same time? Because to me, that's what it feels like. It's like I've played this on a twin stick in the arcade and then it's come out 6 months later on the Dreamcast. That's the nostalgia it gave me. Was that something you were going for, or was that just a nice coincidence?
I think maybe it's more of a coincidence, but I think the three of us had this, it must feel arcade in our minds.
Yeah.
I don't think we had like Naomi specifically in mind when we were doing this, but we definitely had this passion for all arcade games in our minds, and we knew it had to play like an old arcade title.
Yeah.
Like it had to be challenging, but then just with, you know, trial and error, just by practice, by learning enemy patterns and a little bit of patience, as you proved, as you showed everyone when you were playing the other day in your stream, you
Was I
can
good?
get
Was I good?
fire
Was
on
I
fire in
good?
the game.
Was
Yes,
I good?
of course
Did
it
I?
was.
I
Yeah. I mean, for your first time, it was great because you learned
The patterns.
that you
Yeah.
just needed a little patience and trial and error, and just
Yeah.
okay, I need to have a little patience here and learn the enemy patterns, and then I will get to the boss and I will
Yeah.
figure out
Yeah.
what the weakness is.
That's because I'm an old school gamer. I understand that. I understand that. I understand that it's another one of these games where once you learn it, you can do it without getting killed, which I've now since done, which was great.
But we actually received a few emails of users asking us what the trick was. You know, like, this game is hard. Any tips, please? And
It is hard.
we
You
were
sent
like,
me a cheat code, and I've never tried to use it. I didn't use it for my review either. I sat there and completed the game on my review.
awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome. Congratulations.
I didn't want to use a cheat code because I was like, for me, this has got to be authentic, you know. Is that a question there? Oh, sorry. We've got about 5 minutes left, Carlos. So before I have to move the show on, unfortunately. If anyone in the chat has got any burning questions, now's the time to start putting them on. I will try to get to as many as possible, if you have any, that is. But I think just more like, so obviously what we're playing here is a little mini, well, not a little mini game. It's almost like a game of its own. Obviously a Space Harrier, it's not a clone, but it's a Space Harrier inspired shooter here. How much fun was this to make, Carlos, this bit here?
It was crazy fun. All our crazy, colorful ideas were thrown in. Now, if you get farther, I don't know if you finished the Fantasyland.
I haven't. I've got to level 6 or 7, I think, if memory serves.
so
I haven't completed this yet. No, I haven't got. I've been trying to. I've got another memory card with the hard mode on it, which is just like I'm pulling my hair out.
So the more on crack stages,
Yeah.
you can find later on.
Yeah.
Some of them look like you actually broke the game, like you broke the code or something.
Wow.
So with like,
Well, I look forward to
weird
that.
textures and errors on screen and stuff like that. So it was all the craziness we could think of. Like, okay, this should look maybe like Tron, you know, like the
Yeah.
classic Disney movie, or maybe this can look like Space Harrier but on drugs.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get that.
So in the end, it's 12 stages of Space Harrier inspired craziness. So it was really fun to make and to test. You know, we were like putting it together and then testing it ourselves and then thinking, okay, this should be harder. No, please, not harder. We should make this easier for like regular people. No. We should make this even
Regular
harder
people, not the crazy people. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, this I'll once I die on this, I'll quickly show the last bit of the content, if you like. But you know, the other mini games, which is a bit like those mini games we saw in the story mode. But this, I must admit, this will keep me going for hours. This, because while the main story game is obviously brilliant fun, and I will obviously play that all the time. This, I think this is where it's at for me with this game. I just think this is amazing. Look at this, guys. I mean, look at this. This is just fantastic.
It's like 2 or 3 games in one, as I think you mentioned in your
it is. Yeah, it is.
Like coming back to one of your previous questions, we felt it was a good product because of that. You know, because it wasn't.
It's value for money.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it wasn't just an indie game that you can finish in like a couple hours. It's something that we wanted, you know, people to come back to try to improve their scores, to try to unlock everything, to try to get all the achievements, and to try to beat even the Maniac mode.
Yeah, that's hard. I haven't done that yet. Maniac mode.
That one is not made for regular people.
No. I will get it done though. I will get it done, and then I'll show a video and go, see, Carlos, it's too easy. What are you making it easy for? Make it harder. Remake me the game. Super hard mode. No, I'm joking. It's guys.
Maybe for the sequel.
Maybe for the sequel. Can I put myself down as a playtester for the sequel? That'd be amazing.
Sure.
So just before we go, Carlos, I'll quickly load up the next bit as well. What's the plans going forward then for Retro Sumus? You know, obviously, I appreciate you've just launched this, so it's probably all up in the air. But is there anything happening like behind the scenes about what the next project is?
Actually, we have like 3 and a half, 3 or 4 projects like waiting, like, so we choose one of them to go next. There are 3 or 4 games like in the pipeline. One of them will be a port of an old game we cannot talk about yet. One of them a port from a very gory PC game. One of them a completely original adventure game. So we need to finish shipping everything so we can put our minds to rest for a while and then start working on the next thing.
Yeah, well, you're a friend of the show now, so that means that you've got to come back now when you do another game. That's the rules. That's the rules. So
sounds good to me.
Yeah, and I just died just in time. Well, I've got to say, Carlos, thank you so much. I wish we had more time because this is amazing, and I'm definitely going to be keeping in contact. I love this, and this is this product's amazing. I love your brand. I love you guys put this together for us. And I can't wait, so but I'm gonna have to. I've got to move on to the next guest, unfortunately. But this has been amazing, guys. If you can, Sam, if you're there, do you mind just putting up the link again to the Retro Sumus website? Please support the product. If you're a fan of Dreamcast games and shooting games, or just get this. It's absolutely worth it every minute. And Carlos, thank you so much. It's been an absolute privilege to have you on the show. I think this has been one of the best interviews we've ever had.
Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, right.
See you next time.
See you next time. Yeah, see you later, my friend. I'll keep in touch. I'll message you tomorrow.
Okay, bye.
All right, my friend. All right, bye. Bye. Guys, how good was that? How good was that, guys? That was absolutely brilliant. It's a great game. I think anyone that's seen me, you've seen me play it a few times now on stream, and I'm sure we'll get this one out again when we do a Dreamcast stream. But coming up soon, I need to do. He sounds JCVD. What earth does that mean? I am. Right, we've got one more. We've got the last part of the radio show coming up. We've got more, guys. We've got more and more. Leave that meeting. Got another Zoom meeting to open up. Hopefully waiting in the wings is my next guest. Oh, where are we? But yeah, so the next guest. This is because this is like a Zelda special show. I don't want to join a meeting. I want to go to my meetings. Where's my meetings? Oh, I've lost everything on Zoom now. How do I do this? Oh no, Zooms have been all funny. Where's my meetings? My account, there we go. Hopefully, if I can start the next meeting quickly, I've got my next guest coming up. So it's all systems go at the moment. It's all systems go. But yeah, how good was that, guys? How good was that? Now I need to just quickly turn off my Dreamcast. Maybe 1 second. There we go, that's that. Right, join with audio. Oh, systems go, participants. And there's AJ, yes, AJ's here. Hello AJ, have you been following the stream? Hopefully you have. Right. Hello AJ.
Hello there, how are you doing?
Hello. How is things over in the States at the moment?
Oh, things are great. I'm in Florida, so it's sunny and warm.
It's sunny and warm. Well, let me just get rid of that chat thing. How do I get rid of that? Just make you there. Right, there we go. We've got you there. Now let me just do this on the... Hopefully you come up... Hopefully, if everything's gone according to plan, you should just appear on my screen. But we know with live TV, that's not what always happens. So... There, we've got you. Have we got your... Where's your thingamabobber?
Hey,
there you are. Oh, there you are. Right. Lovely to meet you, AJ. Sorry we didn't get to chat much before you... Oh, no, I didn't want you to go away. There you are. Before you come on the stream. But you're a big Zelda fan, so happy 35th anniversary for Zelda, first of all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. This is a regular feature we do called Collector's Corner, so there's nothing cryptic about it. AJ here, who's a Zelda fan, has very kindly submitted some pictures that we're going to show you, and AJ is going to take us through the pictures. And because it's a Zelda special state, we're not just going to run through it quickly like we normally do, you know, where it takes 5 or 6 minutes. We're going to spend a bit of time with AJ and learn a little bit about why Zelda is important to AJ. So I've got some pictures here, haven't I? Hopefully these all just work now. Boom, there's the first picture. Right, so AJ, this is your sub, and look at this, guys. Look at this. How cool is this? This is yours. So this is the picture you said over. That's like the back of your GameCube. And is that an arcade cab there? Or is it like what is that?
Yes. This is a full-size 2-player arcade cabinet. So I've got a PC in there, so I can run pretty much anything you can think of. It's got a trackball, so you can play like Centipede and stuff like that as well. So
it's got a trackball.
Yeah.
You know, oh my god, I know you're all about the Zelda and the Nintendo. I can see that just from your room. If you've got a trackball on that, download a ROM called Sega Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, yeah. I've played that. Yeah.
You played that with a trackball? Oh no! Not there. Because I've only ever been able to play that like really awkwardly with a controller, and it obviously doesn't work properly.
It's actually pretty difficult even to play with the trackball, because you've really got to just roll like as fast as you can, like you're pinching your fingers in the edge. But it's fun, but it's wild and it's pretty unpolished because it never quite finished. But yeah, it's a very fast. You're really working on the trackball more than any other game. And
also, you can do things like that. When we used to go to the pub, there was these. What was it called now? I think it was all Golden Tee, like these golf games.
Yes.
You got all those. You could have all those as well, and also other games use trackball. Just Missile Command, of course. Missile Command.
Yeah, Missile Command's a good one. Yeah, I've actually been to a couple like arcade auctions and seen Golden Tee machines go for less than $100, like with those giant monitors in them.
Yeah.
But you've got to have a ton of space in your house to do that. This is fairly economical because it has a flat screen instead of a CRT.
So did you build this yourself then? Is this something you built yourself?
So it's a kit. I bought it from a company that it's all pre-cut, and then you sort of just assemble it. But their controllers are really nice, and it is all authentic arcade stuff. So you can, if you're
like Sanwa parts and stuff and all that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You can swap out the buttons and put in light up stuff. It works just like a regular arcade, and it's connected by USB, and it's pre-mapped to MAME commands. So out of the box, you can just plug it in and just start playing games. So it's pretty good.
Okay, who's jealous? Who's jealous? Who's jealous? I'm jealous. Okay, well, lovely. Well, this is supposed to be about Zelda, but when I saw that picture, I was like, I need to ask about that. What is that? What is going on there with the arcade cab? So, okay, right, okay, yeah, but we are supposed to be doing Zelda. So here you set up this lovely picture, and this looks amazing. So this is just an overall picture of your Zelda games. Now, I suppose I'm not going to obviously just go through every individual game because that'd be a bit silly. But what is it about Zelda? Just a high level thing for you, or high rule thing? What is it about Zelda for AJ that makes you want to collect Zelda?
Yeah, so I mean, actually, it started with my love for the original game. I played it on the NES when it came out, a couple years after it came out, actually. And I really enjoyed sort of the sense of adventure. They kind of, drop you in this world and with very little direction. They're like, hey, here's a sword, go make your own way. There's even very little direction as far as where the dungeons are or what order you should do anything in. So I just liked this open world kind of feeling of just discovering secrets around every corner. And so the later Zelda games have done that more or less. Like some games are a little bit more linear, others are a little bit more open. But in general, like I love the atmosphere and the music, and of course the games that followed kind of captured some of that spirit as they went. I've got my favorites in the series, but I've enjoyed every Zelda game I've played.
Oh wow, yeah, I have too. I mean, I think the only one I haven't sort of sat down and played properly is the second one on the NES. No, like the side-scrolling one.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I played it when it came out as well, and I didn't like it as much, but I certainly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, a lot of people put it down because it's not the traditional kind of overhead, Pseudo 3D Zelda game. But I gave it a little go, recently, about maybe a few months ago, and I thought it sort of played fine. But yeah, okay. I suppose before we go on to more pictures, like what is your favourite Zelda game?
So it's changed through the years. So originally, the original Zelda game was my favorite game on NES. then it sort of became Wind Waker, just again for that open world exploration. And now it's currently Breath of the Wild. I'm just hoping it just continues to get better and better and better as more games come out. Yeah, it seems like it's kind of weird to say. It's like, oh, Breath of the Wild is it's the newest one, but it also captures that open world feeling of adventure that the original did. And that's what having played that game, that's what I take as the core of Zelda, is a sense of adventure.
Oh wow! Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, it definitely got that in Breath of the Wild. So I suppose I've been just saying I wasn't going to ask, but I suppose now you've mentioned that, is how do you feel about the news that we're going to get a remaster of Skyward Sword rather than the news on which everyone thought it was going to be was Brotherhood of the Wolf 2? How did that hit you as a Zelda fan?
So I certainly enjoyed Skyward Sword. When the game came out, the motion controls are still fairly novel, and they had the add-on for the Wii, so it was a little bit more precise motion controls than previous games. So I only played it when it came out. I haven't gone back to experience it since then, but I thought it was a fun game. I enjoyed it. I didn't, like, some people kind of gripe about, well, it's better without the motion controls, but I enjoyed the motion controls, especially when you're trying to aim to solve puzzles. Like, I felt like that was actually an improvement. So I very much enjoyed that experience.
Well, yeah, well, very good. Yeah, so okay, so you're yeah, I remember playing it. I think I did sit there and do it with my friend. Yeah, I didn't mind it. I found the Wii a nice console. I know a lot of people sort of go scoff it a little bit, being a kid's toy, but I loved the golf on it, and I loved the Wii Sports, and then some of the interesting games with the motion control, so including Zelda. But yeah, okay, that's interesting. And so you're okay with it then? You wasn't like, oh my god, we haven't heard when Brotherhood of the Wolf 2's come out. That's good.
Well, I really want that. Like, being home and quarantine and all that kind of stuff. Like, I really wanted another Breath of the Wild type game, like something I could explore, and I didn't want to replay Breath of the Wild, so I've been spending my time playing other open world games. So I played like Genshin Impact on PlayStation 4. I just started Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, nice.
So I'm trying to. I played Skyrim for the first time during the pandemic, during the quarantine, to get that open world experience.
Wonderful. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm the same. I've got Skyrim on the Switch. I've not actually played it yet. I played it a little bit on the Xbox, but anyway, we're not going to go. We're going to talk about a different. This is Zelda. So you've sent this picture over, and you've got it your Zelda Shrine. Now I've got a Knuckles Shrine. If I point here on my camera, I've got my Knuckles Shrine because Knuckles is my favourite character. So tell us a little bit about the Shrine then. Why did you feel you needed a little space to show off Link? What's all that about?
It sort of came organically. Like, I got a couple figures, and so I put the figures together, and then I got this pocket watch, and I got the little music box, and I actually just got the rupees for my birthday or Christmas. Just recently got that. So it's like, as I kept adding stuff, I was like, well, I'll just put it in the same. I've already got a Zelda corner sort of going, and so now it's, there's a few other things. There's a little bit of Star Wars. You can see Kirby in the background.
Yeah, I love the TIE Fighter. Let's zoom in on the TIE Fighter. I think I can make a picture. Here you go. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Oh no, sorry. Whoa. Oh, the wrong thing. 1 second. 1 second. Oh no. Typical me. I can't just leave things alone. My boyfriend will be having a go at me. I want to zoom in on this TIE Fighter though. I want to see it. Nice high. By the way, anyone that's planning on coming on Collector Corner. Anyone planning on coming on Collector Corner has got to do these nice high-res photos for me. If I've messed it all up, haven't I? I should have just left it alone. But yeah, I love this TIE Fighter here and the Link. This is amazing. So obviously we've got two types of Link, if you like. You've got like the more kind of cartoony, childish one from like the 2D games and Wind Waker and all that, and then you've got the more Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess one. Who's your favourite Link then out of the two?
I'm sort of in love with Toon Link. It's the same kind of thing. Like, everybody kind of, when it came out, people kind of despair. It was like, for some reason, people just, I hate that look. And it's like, it was.
What? Wind Waker? I love that look. I thought that cell shading was beautiful.
Yes, I love it too. But it's like, when it came out, people, the same thing. It's like they kind of looked at it. It's like, that's kind of for kids. And even the GameCube itself, people are like, I've got an Xbox. It's like, okay, fine. But yeah, the Toon Link, like that whole style, like I felt like the reason Wind Waker was my favorite at the time that it came out is it felt like that was the most immersive game I'd ever experienced. Like, there's no seams, everything fits that art design. There's so much expression in the face where he's like sidling along the walls, and the enemies are carrying torches and you're kind of sneaking around, and I just felt like you're sort of in a living cartoon. You're playing in a real other world. It looked completely unlike anything else. Of course, I played the high definition version on the Wii U as well, so I went back. It's rare I get a chance to go back and replay a game that's that expansive, but when the Wii U came out, I bought the Zelda edition and went and played the HD version to re-experience that world.
I'll tell you what I liked about Wind Waker was I'm a big fan of the Game Boy Advance and the GameCube in general, and I loved the fact that you could plug your Game Boy Advance into the GameCube and you could have what's the little fairy called Twink
Tingle, right? No.
Tingle. And then Tingle would appear as an inventory screen on your Game Boy Advance, and then you could have that plugged in next to your controller, and then you could manage stuff off there. And it used to make little noises when Tingle was near something. It was a little novelty thing. And also then you could use those for Zelda 4 Swords. Do you remember that one on the GameCube?
Yeah,
Zelda 4 Swords.
I had that for a while and I traded it in because I didn't have anybody else. It takes a lot of hardware to play that game.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I'm obviously a Sega nut through and through, but my secret Nintendo fetish, if you like, is the GameCube, and I just have like I have for Dreamcast, all the accessories. I aim to get all the accessories, so I've got lots of those cables, and I've got all the colours of the Game Boy Advances as well, because I have sat there and put in 4 Swords, and I've actually, although I'm on my own, I'm not playing with anyone, but having it all linked in, and it was cool, and I took a picture of it. Nice. So people thought I had friends. Right.
I have a purple GameCube that I turned into a lunchbox. It was broken, so I gutted it and put like foam in. It doesn't hold very much. It holds like a sandwich and some chips maybe, but it's just enough to be cute. It's got a handle, so you can carry it around.
Awesome. Right, this picture now. So you've got a top loader NES there with Zelda in it. Is that horrible controller with the weird slidey D-pad thing?
So yeah, that's the NES Max. That was my controller of choice as a kid. That was my favorite controller growing up. It's got turbo buttons built into it, and you can control it by pressing the outside ring or use the inside as a controller. And I still will play the NES with that controller.
Wow. Okay. And is that a PVM monitor below?
Yeah. It's a CRT, so I don't know. Is that the same?
No, yeah. So there's a Cafe Ray Tube CRTs, but there's a professional video monitors that I used to use in studios.
Oh, okay.
It looks like one of those. No, but it's just a CRT. Yeah, it's just a CRT.
Yeah. It's an old 9-inch Zenith TV.
9-inch. Wow, I want it. That looks amazing.
It's super cute. I picked it up like at an antique shop, and it's. They were selling it as non-working because in the States they no longer broadcast over analog.
Yeah, so, same here, yeah.
Yeah, the TV won't pick anything up, so you just get snow. So they're selling it as a non-working unit, and I was like, well, I can plug something into the coax, and I had this top loader which only has a coax output, so it was perfect. It's with a small screen, it doesn't have as much obvious signal noise as when I have it hooked up to the 27-inch in the game room.
Of course, yeah. I think between me and my boyfriend, we have 6 CRTs, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
We only have 3.
Yeah, we like the original stuff. Right, well, thanks for sharing this one, because I love seeing it, especially that CRT. It looks so stylish. It just looks so stylish. My boyfriend, right, is going to be, when this interview finishes and I close the show, my boyfriend's going to be like, how on earth could AJ use that horrible contraption? He's always laughing at that. My boyfriend is a massive NES collector. Like he is like going for a full NES set and all that sort of stuff. And he showed me this controller and we were using it, and he was like, this is rubbish. So I'm glad I found someone that has a different opinion to him and says it's good. I like it when my boyfriend's wrong. It's great. Right. Right, what else have we got here then? Now what is this a Famicom disk system?
No. So this is a little odd. So this is a hand-drawn game guide. There's a guy online, if you just search hand-drawn game guides, he's put out one for Contra, one for maybe Castlevania, and then one for Legend of Zelda. So of course I had to have the Zelda one. So it's a full 60-page illustrated book. Everything, all the artwork in there's all done by hand, and it's literally like a guide to how to complete the dungeons, just like you to get in Nintendo Power, except it's all hand drawn. And there's this fold-out map of Hyrule, also hand drawn. So it's like I wanted to get a picture of something that maybe most collectors didn't have that they couldn't just snag somewhere. This is a little harder to get a hold of.
Yeah, like something unique. Like I've got, I'm a massive Sonic collector. I got massive amounts of Sonic stuff, and I like when I get custom stuff done. Like little pictures, or I've got like a custom Mega or Genesis. Genesis, Sonic Genesis made and stuff for myself and all that. So yeah, I like that as well. Something unique that only you and your collection has. That's wonderful. And I think I've got one more little picture here. Yeah, now this looks like some sort of limited edition thing. What's this? Wind Waker.
So before Wind Waker went on sale, this was a oversized display box. So it's probably I don't know.
Oh, display only. I didn't see that. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. So it's really big. It's like about like I probably can't see I can't get both my hands in the camera.
I think I can see it. Yeah, it's big.
It's oversized, just an empty cardboard box. And I like it because it has artwork that wasn't used. That's not the final cover for the game.
I wish they had used that black. That looks well good.
Yeah, it was really slick. And it was to get people to pre-order. So I've got that. I've got one for Metroid Prime, and I've got one for Dark Cloud 2, and I've got them all up on the top of a bookshelf in the corner of the room.
I love it when I see a collection and people get their promo type stuff like that, where it's like, it goes a bit beyond the games, and it's more about, I want to see what goes on behind the scenes and stuff as well. I love that kind of stuff. My boyfriend, he's retorting to you, AJ. First of all, he's telling me I'm also a Switch fan. Well, yeah, who isn't? I mean, you'd be stupid not to like the Switch. The controller sucks. I used the 4 score to upgrade the standard controller to Turbo. Great for Mega Man.
So what's kind of funny is, I use the NES Max so much that even when I configure like an emulator, I make one set of buttons be regular and the other set of buttons be turbo, because I'm so used to just being able to quickly swap between a regular button and a turbo. I did have the NES Advantage for a while, but the NES Max was always my control. I basically ditched my original controllers. I threw them in a box and just never used them again after I got the NES Max. That's how much I love it.
I'm like that with the Dreamcast. There were some special controllers released called by the company ASCII. That company ASCII make like game peripherals.
Yes.
And it was designed for fighting games. But I use it for all of my any game that it plays with now. I just use it on Dreamcast. I just dumped the standard controller and went, I'm just using this forever.
On Super Nintendo, I use the ASCII pad that has all the little switches in there, so you can.
The ASCII Commander.
Yeah, I love it. That's my
Fatal Fury, wasn't it? That come out. Yep, I know the controller very well because I got one.
I used it till I wore it out, and then I found a used one in a game shop and picked up another one. So that's what's hooked up to my Super Nintendo right now. I have all my classic systems are all hooked up in this room currently, so I can just turn them on and start playing.
Yeah, I'm the same. I've got all my. I've got permanently set up. I've got GameCube, Dreamcast, Mega Drive, X, a few others. Yeah, we got low switches. We have permanently. We got a nice comment here. This is from hi Nerd Revenge. My first housemate when I left home had a life-size Cypher from Final Fantasy VIII as his partner worked in game. He wasn't even a gaming fan and stupidly destroyed it when he moved out. That's a waste. That's a waste.
Shame. Yeah.
Never mind. So what do you want to? Okay, I'm going to open a can of worms here. I know I'm going to open a massive can of worms here. What do you want to see in Brotherhood of the Wolf 2? Even if that's what it's. I hope it's not called that, because that'd be a bit crap. But the next Zelda title. What do you want to see?
Yeah. So I certainly would love to see Zelda as a playable character finally, and I'd like to see her, because my favorite, sort of female character from the Zelda series was when we had Wind Waker. We had, Zelda was in disguise, and she's out as a pirate, as Tetra, and it's I would love to see, her jumping off a horse and stabbing some monsters and fighting bosses, either as an option for the player to pick Link or Zelda, or split the play, or do co-op with, one player playing Link and one player playing Zelda would be fantastic. So I think they should finally get to the point where she can be played. Wow,
I like that idea. The actual Princess Zelda as a character.
Yeah, because in most of the games, because the game's called The Legend of Zelda, and I feel like they tried to get away from that. They had a Link to the Past, and they tried to get Link's name in there. I felt like they were trying to get to the point where Link could have adventures, and it didn't need to necessarily be centered around Zelda. But I feel like because of the name, they've sort of had to come up with an excuse to make sure Zelda's included, but then they usually don't have anything for her to do. She's in the castle, or she needs to be rescued. You know, she's the damsel in distress. So it's like, in many games, she's not really adding substantially to what's happening, but it's like, well, she has to be in her name's right on the cover. It's like, let's get her into the action. Like, she's, you know, obviously a capable, you know, heroine. It's like, she's not just going to sit and pine away in the castle waiting to be rescued. It's like, let's get her into the fray and have her go to work. Like, do some action, kill some beasts.
I like. Yeah, maybe she could be more like magic orientated. You know, because she's got that kind of look, hasn't she? Like more fireballs and stuff.
She did, like in Breath of the Wild, they kind of established that she knew a lot about like herbs and flowers and how it's like the inner workings of the world and kind of the ancient symbols. Like she was trying to decipher things. It's like, yeah, so it's like, yeah, so it doesn't have to be a 1-to-1 swap for Link. She didn't have to have the exact same skill set. But yeah, I would love to see that, because it being a prequel, you know, you're kind of figuring you're going to be in roughly the similar kind of geography. You're going to be exploring some of the same areas and meeting some of the same characters, which is a little bit of a bummer because just discovering the world of Breath of the Wild was one of the best things about it. But I feel like they need to find new ways to branch out. And yeah, if she had a totally unique skill set, you know, she could do things that Link couldn't, or you know, Link has to cooperate with her either again through like AI or through another player. You know, helping him along, and him helping her along. It's like, why not? Let's go to town. Let's do it.
Yeah, very good. Sam here has made a great point, and I've seen this a lot. There's that meme where people who've never played the games assume that Link is Zelda, basically. Like, yes. That's very good. Well, I tell you what, AJ, thank you very much for taking the time, especially over there in the States. What an international show we've had tonight. So we've had like someone from Spain, someone from America. This is amazing. AJ, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure. You're a friend of the show now, so that means that you might have to come back. So maybe, I love hearing your thoughts about Zelda. So maybe when Brotherhood of the Wolf 2 comes out, or whatever it's going to be called, comes out, maybe you'd like to come back and chat us through with it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And actually, I do some like game development type stuff too. So there's a game behind me over my shoulder, Pig Eat Ball, which is a game that I worked on that's on Switch and
what?
PC.
Why didn't you tell me all this?
Well, I just coming on to talk about Zelda, but yeah, it's
like, you've got a game we could play on the Switch. Can you get me a review code?
Yeah, I can get you a review code.
Can you send me a review code? And then I'll tell you what. Then next week you come back as our dev interview for your game.
Okay, yeah, I was the writer. I wrote the dialogue in the game. I got a buddy of mine who's the programmer, who's the heads the company.
That's alright, but you still made the game, didn't you?
I still worked on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe maybe the next week. Well, maybe that's it. You come back next week and you be our dev interview dialogue interview in this case. Send me a review code if you can get one, and maybe we could do that then, or maybe Mate, we'll sort it out. We're not going to do it all now. But no, AJ, I've sadly got to the end of the show, guys. So, AJ, I'll say goodbye, and I'll message you tomorrow, my friend. Thank you for taking the time. But I'll say goodbye for that. Thanks to great, fascinating. I wish I had more time. Fascinating. I'll see you later, AJ.
All right, talk to you later.
Right, let's get out of that. End that. Bye-bye. Leave meeting. Yeah, just go away. Zoom. Thank you very much. Not AJ. Sorry, I meant Zoom. How fascinating was that, guys? We've gone from someone doing a collective corner to they've made a computer game. This is what it's all about on this show. It's all about joining those dots. And we can have AJ back. I loved AJ. I want AJ back on the show ASAP. And I've got an excuse to bring AJ back now, if AJ's got the time. Because AJ helped make a game. That's what it's all about. Well, guys, this is sadly the end of the Retro Radio for another Thursday. Look, it's nearly 10:30. So thank you very much for hanging around. I'm gonna